So,
So,
hello,
hello,
we are Satin Puppet.
I am Joanna. This is
I'm
Julia,
Julia.
and we're excited to get interviewed today.
All right, let's get right on into it. The first question is, how did your musical journeys begin?
It technically started when we were really little, but it was never something we thought we were gonna actually pursue and like do like professionally and like record with producers and make our own music. I didn't ever think we were gonna do that. But yeah, in a way, like we it did begin in our childhood. Like specifically with my grandma because like we spent lots of time with our babushka, like my mom's mom. So my grandma that like came from Russia and like we would like
One
she
of
would
the
teach us.
activities that we would do together was like she would teach us songs and we would like learn them and recite them, and she would teach us like how to move and dance. So
Mhm.
that's all just kind of been like very, very early on in our childhood. And
Yeah, I'm like really, really, I credit my grandma, I credit Babushka for like everything that we do with our music and like presentation. She, for fun, it was what we did with her when we'd go over to her house. Like she would make us like our costumes and teach us songs and poetry and like how to move and dance. And like she taught us how to sew and like she just did a lot of crafts with us. Like, so even besides the music, which is like anything with expression, I credit my grandma because she introduced a lot of those things to us and gave us the materials for that, like
Mhm.
very early on in our childhood. Yeah.
Hmm, all right. And you say babushka?
Yes.
Okay.
Babushka, that's what we call her. In Russian, that means grandma.
Okay. All right. So your
Babushka.
Russian identity is was really important to you growing up.
Yes, I feel like because we were brought up with a lot of Russian culture, like on my mom's side and Hispanic culture too, because on my dad's side, we were raised with our Ecuadorian culture and like
Mhm.
eating Ecuadorian food and around Spanish, like um just like culture. And so we really have like a 50-50 balance between that in our childhood and upbringing and a lot of influence from our cultures, like in our expression. And yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
but like
awesome.
very specifically the creative influence was from my mom's side, so from
Mhm.
Babushka's side.
Oh, okay. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm so thankful that like my mom spoke to us in Russian and my dad spoke to us in Spanish and like our whole like we were exposed to the language at a very young age. Because like we retained a lot of it. It was like it was instilled in us and we actually like learned English like full on when we started school because like our whole family would just speak like besides my cousins, they would speak to us in English, but like we
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 spent most of our time like with my grandma or with my
yeah.
dad, and they spoke to us in their native languages. So we kind of learned Russian and Spanish before we learned English.
And like in like when we were little, we would mix like the words from Russian and Spanish together and like speak to only each other. So it was like alien language that we invented. And like we were so in our own worlds, like ever since we were little, that it probably really looked like we were just aliens frolicking around the playground, like just like speaking our own language. So I don't know, but I think that's it, I'm just like I'm really grateful that I have that um like that like as part of me. Like the cultures that we like were brought up with and everything. And yeah, because we went to preschool, like it wasn't hard for us to learn English at all. Like yeah, but I mean, I'm definitely like a poor communicator still. Like,
She
I don't
says that,
know.
but she's totally not. I think you have
I'm maybe not a
in,
poor
insanely
communicator,
strong
but like
communication.
I'm not a good socializer. Like I'm not good in social settings.
It's all right. I don't think any of us are.
We can
uh,
all
could all relate for sure. Okay. So Did one of you have an inclination toward music first, or was it something that you guys kind of went into immediately together?
Definitely immediately together, just like any of our other endeavors. We've kind of like just always been in sync in that way, and like, yeah, just got into things together and
Yeah.
grew together. And we were always exposed to the same things, so we were influenced by the same things, like the movies we grew up watching together, like the like when we would play outside, like the world that we were in, like together, like all of that, we've always been together. So of course, like any endeavor that we decided to pursue just kind of naturally happened, like in our passions like coming together, if that makes sense. Like for example, um like when we were in college, and like we were like given our assignment, like you have to create a painting, like, and here's the objective or whatever, like, and we would like think about what artists we want to reference. We always would gravitate to the same artists, or like find things like on the internet. We'd be like, oh my God, look, I love this. And we were
Constantly
just
sending
always,
inspiration back and
yeah,
forth
like,
and like
yeah,
brainstorming together.
and that kind of helped us build our world more, like visualize it more and become more immersed in it. And like we obviously also like would put on our favorite movies and like paint together in the same space. So like we would watch each other paint and learn from each other, and like learn from the different artists that we were really influenced by. Like for example, Mark Ryden, Mob Graves, um Tim Burton, like these are just to name the ones
Brandy
off the top of my
Milne.
head. Brandy Milne, I literally
Huge
love her to death.
inspiration.
She's one of our biggest influences as an artist, visual artist.
Especially with our earlier work, we used to
Yeah.
like when we were in college, we would create like massive, just like colorful acrylic paintings
Like
and
really
like
immersive paintings.
yeah, like I
like
loved just putting on a movie and getting lost in the painting. And this might be a neurodivergent thing, but we would like watch the same movie over and over and over again.
I
One of
think
them was
something,
Coraline.
yeah, Coraline was one that like in college we would put it on repeat and watch it for like a week straight while we were working on our paintings. And like I think something about repetition is so comforting to me. Like
That
it's
and
like being
it
cradled.
almost felt like a study too, because like
Yeah.
the constant like reaffirmation of the like visuals and the music just felt very like it was building something. I don't know how to explain that.
And
Yeah.
also, like, when you do watch something a million times, you catch all the details that actually add to the story and add to like the depth of it. It's like you can't just watch something one time and have a
capture
full
all the, like,
understanding of it.
details.
Like, at least like me personally, I cannot do that. Some people actually can. Like they're like they know like everything about the movie, like just by watching it once. Like my little sister, we have a little sister. Her name is Paulina. She's 14, and she's so smart that like it's crazy. When we were showing her Harry Potter for the first time, like she was picking up on
catching
every
all
single
the
detail
details.
that took me like years of watching over and over again to fully understand and grasp. And like, yeah, I don't
I
know.
think I think like as neurodivergent people, we tend to like focus in on like one or two details that really fascinate us. So we'll miss a bunch of other things, and then like each time we rewatch it, we'll pick up on other things. I used to drive my parents nuts because I absolutely loved the movie Forrest Gump, and I watched it like a bajillion times, and I know the entire movie backwards and forwards, all the lines.
Oh,
So
I love that movie so much.
yeah, I absolutely loved it. It's just like I don't know the whole journey of the character. I was just like, oh, they're such a good person. But anyways, um, yeah. So I used to drive my parents nuts with that one. But I would notice new things, and then of course, with its tie to actual history, I started watching it more because I was appreciating like the different little like details and like recognizing where they're coming from and what they're significant to. So yeah, I think it's definitely a neurodivergent thing.
Yeah,
Another thing we can all relate on.
yeah.
For sure. Okay. So what was the first song that you guys worked on?
It's called Quagmire, and Nightshade produced it, the producer Nightshade. And that yeah, that was our first like official song that we've ever released, like on Spotify and everything. And big shout out to Nightshade because he helped us out so much in the beginning, like to learn the music industry and like all of that.
And when did you both start that? Like when
That was it. That was
We kind of started working
like
on it in either it
what
was
year
the
was
end of
that?
2019 or 2020. I kind of
I
forget.
think it was
But I think we
2019.
released the song in January of 2021, I believe.
and
Yeah,
would you like to talk about that song, like where that came from?
that one I feel like is just like the all-encompassing, like can kind of apply any lesson
Yeah.
into it because it has a very like open and broad like interpretation.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, we released it 2021.
2021.
So
Yes.
yeah, we released it in 2021. But yeah, I feel like that song is like the seed of like the big
rebirth.
story. Like because like the story that we kind of created that goes with it goes hand in hand with the first EP that we put out and the second EP that we're almost finished with. Like
Mhm.
those two EPs are kind of like a mirror of each other, but one is um
Tells the
like
story like in chronological kind of
yeah,
order, and then the second one kind of goes more into the emotional side of
each of the
the
characters
characters.
because the story which I'm actually we're gonna put out like a little comic book that goes with the EP
Cool.
and it's the story it's the story and I call it a comic book but it's just like an illustrated story that's gonna narrate the it goes hand in hand with the five songs on the EP and each of the five songs represents the five puppets that are the five main characters in the story besides the main character which is the puppeteer and he it's about his traumatic childhood and how the five puppets represent his five inner traumas that he is like processing and working through and like without realizing it because he had them so suppressed throughout his whole childhood and upbringing um so yeah without giving away like too much that's pretty much like the structure of our music that we've been releasing. But yeah, Quagmire, um, and Intertwined and Circus Tent, those three are completely separate from the first EP and the second EP that we're almost done with. Those three songs were just like the first three songs that we just put out just to like share like what our kind of sound is and like what we are like as like music artists.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
I totally understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like these first works are kind of like a concept, kind of like
Yeah.
concept albums. Okay. Very
Yeah.
cool. Now, did you guys go into this with an idea already, or did the idea kind of materialize as you were working on it?
It sort of materialized as we were working on it, but it was pieced together from like poems and things that we've been writing
Hmm.
for like years before we even knew we were gonna do music. Like, because we've always written like poetry that goes with our art. And like, I've always imagined that our art would have like a sound and an ambience to it. Like, our paintings and our drawings and our characters would definitely have like a sound that goes with it. And so, like, when we had the opportunity to make our own music, we were like, okay, what we're basically doing here is extending the or like broadening like making the experience more real for people like when they're looking at our art like I want it to feel more like they're in the paintings or that they can identify with the characters more because music has such a powerful effect and can help people like get into like I don't know like I feel like it does a really good job at like at adding another dimension to visual art, and vice versa too. Like visual art adds another dimension to music. And that's why the two go so hand in hand and are so important for us to like express both pieces, the
Mhm.
visual and the sound. Um, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Your art journey. So when did you guys start doing art? When did you start experimenting and like really branching into this inner world that you guys kind of have developed together?
That was another thing that we've just been doing ever since we were children. Yeah, like that one of the things we did for fun was draw and just do anything that we can be creative with, like Play-Doh.
We've
And
always been obsessed with drawing little characters, like little monsters, dragons. Like we were obsessed with dragons when we were little. Like, and we would make up our own species of dragons and we would write out like everything about them, like what powers they had. And like we would do like our own like Pokemon cards, not Pokemon cards, but they were like dragons that we would create and we would make them
we would
battle with each other.
and like use the
Like,
powers that we like invented for them.
yeah. And like we were always obsessed with creating our own like little characters.
I just
and
realized how much we were basically playing D&D
yeah, I just realized that
that we
too.
like would just make up.
Yeah, but yeah,
Oh,
like we've always like I've always we've always had like I don't know, just a passion and adoration for little like creatures. Like we were so obsessed with
Monsters.
Pokemon and like trying to draw them and like just like shows that we would watch and we would adore the creatures. Like a lot of the shows we would watch were like Russian cartoons, and there's this one little creature, his name is Chiburashka, and he's like a little monkey like creature with
mhm.
like big round furry ears and like a little like rubbery face. And like it's funny because like whenever it was the first time I like tried to describe what it was, I was like, this actually sounds so eerie, but like we
But it's
adored
really
it. And
cute.
in like a lot of Russian like cartoons kind of did have, well, at least the ones we grew up watching, they were kind of odd and eerie because they were puppets, or a lot of them, or like little weird dolls, and like it was stop motion. And like I didn't
Ooh, stop
realize it, but
motion.
yeah, like a lot of
Uh,
them are stop motion.
Sorry, I got
So
excited.
yeah, you
You
should
should watch
definitely watch
Chiburashka.
Chiburashka. I can like give you a little list after, but
Please
Chiburashka.
do. Please do.
And one, it's a live action. It's called Buratino. And that is a version of Pinocchio, a Russian version of Pinocchio, but it's a kind of a different story. But it's about like a little wooden doll, like a wooden log actually, that he gets carved and into a doll, and he comes to life and he goes on these crazy adventures and meets this theater that he becomes part of. Um, but like he tries to set them free, like help them escape. Which actually is a lot has I influ like I was very influenced by Buratino for writing the story about the puppeteer, our story. Um, like there's a lot of parallels, but also like yeah, it's totally its own thing. And it's a live action. We're obsessed with the costumes in it. It's older. I think it's like I don't know what year it is. I think maybe like
The 70s, maybe?
maybe 70s. Let me find out.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was like one like they were really having their heyday with animation. It's an interesting story, actually. They believe that Disney might have actually like taken a lot of their style from a early Russian cartoon called the Snow Queen, I believe it was.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like really beautifully
Snegurachka?
drawn. Yeah.
I think it's called
Yeah, we
Snegurachka.
literally grew up watching that one too.
Yeah, the Russian fairy tale cartoons and fairy tale stories, they look like book illustrations that are just like
Like
so
moving
beautifully
paintings.
colored. Yeah,
Hmm.
like they're like just to name a few, Snegurочка Rusalka is another one. It's
Oh
about
my
the
God,
the
that one
fish,
is so beautiful. If you haven't seen
the
that one,
mermaid.
it's on YouTube.
Yeah, that one is so stunning. Like that one, I love watching that one. Like before I go to sleep, it's like so relaxing to watch, and it's just like so visually like I've always loved watching like shows or movies that you can tell it was watercolor painted, or you can tell it was like an art, like the background of
Mhm.
it. Like yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I like
Yeah.
the Aristocats. Did you grow up watching that Disney movie?
Oh yes, of course.
There's, you know how like in the beginning, it's just like you can tell the texture's watercolor paper, and you can tell like the backgrounds, the backdrops are like watercolor buildings, and like the it always made me want to
Sleeping
draw and
Beauty
paint when I was little.
really
Oh yeah,
has,
it's so aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
yes.
It's just it's like it's so soft, but like it's like got like a weird calming kind of like sensation to look at it,
Yeah.
but it's
Mhm.
like enveloping. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really pretty.
Yeah. It's
I
just
feel
so
you.
nostalgic too. Like it's just like whenever I'm sad, I just have to watch that, and I literally feel so safe and happy. Like
Yeah, my comfort Disney film, I actually still have the VHS was Pinocchio, believe it or not.
what?
Yeah, it
Oh
was
my
my favorite. I
God.
actually have a Pinocchio doll from whenever I went to Disney World when I was very, very little, and I've
That
never
is
gotten rid of it.
so
That's so
freaking cool. I
special.
wish I still had a lot of my dolls too that we would acquire like from Disneyland. And that is so cool that you have like a vintage Disney Pinocchio doll. Like I
Yes.
would die like to have that like as part of our collection. We collect random things. Like we collect a lot of really random things, but like we have these two Pee Wee Herman dolls. They're like our matching Pee Wee Herman dolls,
And
that
it's like the drawstring
the
ones.
drawstring ones,
And I
but
I have
swear,
one of those.
you do?
I
Oh
sure
my
do. He's actually right back there.
Oh
it's
my
haunted too
God.
because
Yeah.
ours are definitely
Ours are haunted because I can hear them. I swear it's them
like
running
walking around
around
upstairs.
upstairs like all the time. Like
Yikes.
we're there's Pee Wee Herman. He's running around up there. Like it sounds like little footsteps sometimes.
What do you think he's doing up there?
I don't
Oh
know,
my
but like
God.
sometimes like I'll open my closet and I swear he's sitting a little differently. Like one time I
Yeah.
opened my closet and he's just like looking at me. It's just
He's
like
probably
he's
the
so
reason why
silly.
things go missing or misplaced in this house all the time.
Yeah,
I'm
I
constantly
swear.
misplacing everything,
I
specifically
swear.
upstairs too.
Mine's
Yeah.
voice, like the little voice pull string is broken, so it like will come out like just sounding like absolutely demonic sometimes, and then sometimes it'll be super fast.
Oh my God. I love that. Yeah, we love like creepy, eerie things. Like I'll purposely collect things that are like
Cursed.
they look cursed. We have some crazy stories though, honestly. Like don't collect cursed things. Do not collect cursed things. If you feel like it is cursed, maybe it does not belong in your house.
So, are you both into Commedia dell'arte? I saw that you guys like puppets. I understand you guys like puppets. Do you like Commedia dell'arte?
Yes, we looked that
Yeah,
up.
I didn't know what that meant at
Yeah.
first. Like I've never heard of that, but then when we looked it up, we realized
It's like old Italian theater, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, we are familiar with it. I just didn't know what it was called.
Do you have a favorite character?
Wait, so would Pierrot count as a character?
Technically, yes.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
definitely Pierrot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was
Oh my
uh Harley Quinn and Columbina, of course.
Yes.
Both of
Yes.
them
Very
very cute.
iconic.
But
There's
yeah,
actually a character in the Burattino that kind of reminds me of Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I think that they
Yes.
probably are referencing
He's like a
Harley
little
Quinn.
like devil child that has like little like gesture like
Yeah.
ear thingies.
yep. That sounds
Super
like
cute.
or
Yeah.
Arlecchino, whatever they call them. Yeah, he was kind of sort of absorbed by the devil character, but like almost all stories in theater like are based on Commedia dell'arte because there's always like one archetype
Yeah.
for every single type of character. It's very interesting how if you look at almost any drama, there's like a role that you could fit like, okay, so this is the doctor, this is the devil, this is
Yeah.
Arlecchino or Punchinella. Were either of you into vaudeville at all?
Which one was it?
Vaudeville?
No,
Vaudeville.
I haven't heard
No.
of that. Yeah.
Okay. Vaudeville is just like show tune sort of stuff, but like there's a lot of variety in vaudeville. Like you could even say that like swing kind of came from vaudeville to a degree.
Oh, that's so cool.
If you like there was a lot of people like steam powered giraffe. Like I don't know if you know who they are.
Yeah, I know Steam Powered Giraffe. Yes, I
Highly
love.
influenced by vaudeville.
Okay, okay. I love that aesthetic so much. I love their song Honeybee.
That's like their most famous one, yeah. I really
Yeah,
like
that's
that
the
one
one
too.
that I like heard when I first heard of them, and I was obsessed with like their whole visual presentation and like yeah, it's so cute. I adore it.
Yeah, they're very interesting. I really like their stuff. Very visually interesting band. Okay. So a lot of your art and your music and stuff like that has like a lot of themes of death, darkness, and frailty. Where does that stem from?
So, do you want to
I just think like naturally we gravitate to like the duality in life in general and like being twins and growing up like as twins, it was kind of like an easy thing for us to observe together and like even like the things that have been projected onto us like, oh, you must be the evil twin and you're like the angel twin or like and I don't know, we would kind of go through different phases in life where we would take on the different
like it's weird, like sometimes one of us
characters
would be like the more dominant twin and the other one of us would be the more shadow quiet one, and then sometimes it would switch. Like and it's till this day it's that way.
it's a constant
Like we're
like
constantly
switch and
switching.
I
Like
just think that's like a great like analogy to life too and like
yeah,
how people go through different phases in their
chapters and
life where they need to
phases.
do more shadow work or like when they're feeling more inspired and
Like I think that
I
you're
don't know.
throughout life, you are gonna go through experiences that either tell you that you need to be in your shadow self mode. Specifically when we're in our shadow mode selves, we do observe a lot of the horrors that happen in the world. Like
Yeah.
you know, the older that you get, the older that we all get as when in our aging process, like we
You can't really run
you
away from
can't
the
like
fucked up things that
escape.
happen in
Yeah,
life.
like you can't just close your eyes to the things happening in the world that are unfair and unjust and like they make you angry, they make you sad, they make you feel pain. All of those things are very much part of being a human and very important to experience to grow and to like make a decision from there. Like actually first step is confrontation and seeing like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can ramble on about this, but yeah, like that, I
So,
guess that's why a lot of our art, like themes are like darker themes because I feel like it's just more authentic. And for, I don't know, it's just like I feel like I create like my, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to
so
say.
do
Yeah.
you want your art to kind of confront these themes in your listener?
Um, like it's not like that's what my intention is. Like if if my art like if
But
my
it's
art
there if
like
they need to, yeah.
Yeah, like I think like it's gonna resonate different with everybody depending on
yeah.
what phase in life they're in. Like some people will message us saying that our music has like helped them feel peace and calmness, and like other people will be like, "Gosh, this is so dark and morbid. Why would you write such lyrics?" Like they're
Yeah.
like genuinely disturbed, but like yeah, it's just different from person to
Everyone,
person, and I
yeah.
love that like people are at least feeling something when they listen to our music
Yeah,
and
like the
yeah.
intention really is just to express like something and then it can resonate with people however they please. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think like our intention though is to bring bring like a sense of like you're not alone kind of like make people feel like they're not alone in a specific emotion or like I don't know, to feel like a sense of peace in in darkness, if that makes sense. Like,
No, I get that.
yeah, so that you don't feel like you're all alone in that specific emotion, like, or like, I don't know. Yeah. That's, I guess,
So,
the main purpose of why we share.
for our listeners, when you were referring earlier, Joanna, when you were talking about the shadow self, what exactly do you mean by that?
The shadow self is the inner child that we really have to take care of, and we have to address and acknowledge and hold their hand through life. You have to be your own best friend, and you have to learn and build a relationship with yourself and trust yourself that you are going to do what's best for you. And like I always tell myself, if I can't do it for me, then I have to at least do it for the people that I love in my life, like until I'm able to actually do this for myself. Like, yeah.
Your artwork, when you guys work on this stuff, are you working on this together? Like, is this a collaborative effort, or is this something that you both kind of do independently but joint together thematically?
Exactly, independently, and then it just like fits into the same world. And
Yeah, like sometimes we will collaborate on one piece together, but it's usually like I'll start a drawing and I'll be like, "Oh, Julia, like do you want to finish this drawing?" Like, and then just for fun, like we'll do things like that.
or Joanna's really good at doing hands, so sometimes I'll ask her to draw hands for me.
Yeah, like, or if I feel like my sister would be better at
Tricky.
drawing one specific thing, like I'll have her draw it and then like I'll add the background or something. Yeah, like we'll do things like that sometimes, but for the most part, when we're drawing, we have our own like little projects going on. And yeah.
Okay. And what do you feel fuels your art and music primarily? Emotion, experiences, expressions of your experiences?
Kind of like a little bit of everything. Like it's just very random, and sometimes like especially like it's always 3 in the morning in the middle of the night. I'll just like be stricken with like an idea or like a really intense like emotion or feeling, and like I'll have to like wake up and write it down or just tell myself to remember, but I never do. But
Yeah,
yeah,
keep a
but
notepad by your bedside. It helps.
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it is a very odd dream that I'll have. Like just the other day I had this dream that I had a whole ecosystem inside of my brain, and like I didn't know it was in there, but like I can feel something in my brain. And I was like in my dream I was telling my sister, I was like telling her that I don't feel well, and then like I was going like this, like that. And
Mm.
then like I sneezed, and then like all of this like mushrooms and slugs and like little bugs and stuff started crawling out of my nose and then my eyes and then like my mouth, and like it was kind of like it was like yeah, like of
She
course
actually
in my
drew it.
Was
yeah,
this a
I
dream or a nightmare?
I have like really, really intensely vivid nightmares, technically nightmares, but like in the dream, for some reason, I don't like when I wake up, I'm just like so happy that it was just a nightmare, that like I wouldn't call it a nightmare. I feel like a true nightmare for me is when I wake up and like I feel like, well, like when I have sleep paralysis, like I'll
Mhm.
wake up and I just like feel really off or really dark, or like I literally can't move or something, or like something with my breathing. Like I'll get things like that happen, and those are nightmares. Like that has to do with energy. But like when I have these really vivid visuals that are like nightmares, like they're really dark, that for me, like it's not, I'm not really scared usually like in those dreams. Like I don't know why. Like I feel like I'm just watching it all happen
I
and
get it.
like also experiencing it. It's weird. Like I feel like I'm in my body, but also watching it all happen. And then like once I'm aware that I'm dreaming, it's so easy for me to wake up. I'm like, oh, this has to be a dream. Like there's no way that this is my real life right now. And I'll wake up and I'll be like, yep, thank goodness. That was just a dream.
Yeah,
So
I have levels of lucidity in my dream too, so I get what you're saying. Like it
yeah.
never gets like it never gets outright terrifying, but it's still like weird, but I can like limit the bad things that happen to me in my sleep. So like generally once that happens, I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming. And then I'll kind of
Yeah.
but still it's like ugh. The idea
Yeah.
of that coming out of my nose, I don't think I'd like that very much at all.
It was it was a really icky, gross experience. And then, but in my dream, I was like, I was feeling that way because I was like, I knew I was sick in my dream, which like at that point, like before all the sludge started coming out, like I was like, that's why I was convinced it was real. Like a lot of times, like obviously when you're dreaming, you think it's real, it's all real. Like I thought it was real, but then once all this stuff started coming out of my nose, I was like, this has to be a nightmare. Like this has to be a dream. And then yeah, and I woke up and I was so thankful.
That too. Okay. So in like the theme of where your art is coming from, what kind of books did you get into whenever you were younger?
We had a lot of
Like cool artistic books.
yeah, like
and
picture books. Like we loved
yeah.
looking at pictures.
My mom, oh my God, my mom had a Van Gogh book, and we used to
Hmm.
be obsessed with like looking at
Yeah.
the art in there and trying to paint like
There's some art
paint.
Yeah.
books, yeah.
My mom
Yeah.
had really, really cool books. Like when we were little, she had this bookshelf. My mom used to be really into scrapbooking and like collecting like cool books and like making covers for them. And like she would display them up like on this bookshelf. And sometimes we would go through and just look at the pictures. And she had all these like Russian poetry books. And
She had a
the
ton of Russian poetry
illustrations were
books.
so freaking cool. Like some of them had really cool illustrations.
Yeah.
And
We
yeah.
didn't learn to read in Russian until later, much later in life. So
Mhm.
had we known how to read in Russian, we would probably been reading those books.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Like because like we grew up like speaking Russian and like hearing Russian, but like we didn't actually were taught how to read it until like we were like teenagers. Like my grandma taught me how to my our grand babushka taught us how to read and write in Russian. And that's like yeah, that's like yeah, like that's like why I feel like it was really exciting to me the idea of writing a lot of our lyrics in Russian because I feel like sometimes there's things
It's
that I
easier
can't
to channel certain
yeah, like I
expressions in
can't express
Russian.
certain things in English words. I feel like they're not describing what I'm trying to say like effectively, but in Russian there's like more
I think they
ways.
have like a larger vocabulary too. Like they have
Yeah.
words that describe things that English words can't describe in one word.
Yeah, like in English, you would have to
Questions, yeah.
describe the whole thing to describe this thing in Russian. You can say it in one word. Yeah.
Right, like the what is it, Schadenfreude and terms like that in other languages where it's like it encapsulates an emotion or a feeling that you have,
Yeah.
but you can't
Mhm.
quite capture it because there's no equivalent in English. Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Patience of the English language. Yeah, that is somewhat frustrating. Yeah, I can't imagine reading in Russian. I tried learning a little bit of it myself. I never got very far into it. Once I started confronting the Cyrillic alphabet, I was just like,
Yeah. It's a very odd alphabet. There's so many
There's like
random
36 characters,
characters.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like once you like learn what sound each of those little symbols make, it becomes so easy. Like it I don't know. Yeah, I'm not like super I can't like read fluently in Russian. Like I read so slowly in Russian, but like yeah.
imagine working through Tolstoy's works.
Huh?
I said, imagine working through Tolstoy's works.
Oh,
Oh, oh my
War
God.
and Peace.
Yeah. I'm definitely not like yeah, I can't like fluently read, but yeah. It's always fun to challenge ourselves.
Mhm.
Indeed. Oh, okay. So you mentioned like your favorite movies and stuff. What about like what about musicians? Who are your favorite musicians? What did you listen to mostly?
Like growing up or like when we got older, like our
Uh,
influence.
either or.
Okay, do you want to
Growing
start?
up, it was a lot of like Russian music. My dad listened to a lot of Ecuadorian music, but he also really loved like 80s and 90s music.
Hmm.
So we grew up with a lot of that
Yeah,
too,
we
like
loved ABBA. Like we loved
ABBA.
singing to ABBA. We loved Toto. We
Mhm.
loved um what else? I'm like drawing a blank right now, but like oh, the Beatles,
Queen.
Queen, Michael Jackson. My mom liked Michael Jackson.
Mhm.
Um and then like when we got a little older, like we loved a lot of the pop artists.
Like
I
Lady
loved,
Gaga was like
yeah,
iconic.
Britney
It still
Spears.
is.
Till
Mhm.
this day, she's one of my she's my goddess. I love Britney Spears.
Mhm.
Um,
And then around middle school, we became very like
really
into the
into
alternative
the like alternative scene. Green
scene.
Day, My Chemical Romance, and The
The
Used were
Used.
our top three favorite bands in the whole world.
Yes.
And we've seen the three bands like so many times already. Like, well, like Green Day, we've seen I think only once. I think Green Day we've only seen once, but
My Chemical
My Chemical
Romance
Romance we've
three
seen
times.
four times, counting like the kind of recent time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Like their reunion
When they reunited,
thing.
we went to see like one of their shows that they had in like around LA.
Mhm.
Um, and then The Used we've seen like five times. And yeah, then we used to go to Warped Tour like every year when that was a thing, and just like we loved discovering new bands there, and like yeah, we loved
Melanie
Paramore. Oh,
Martinez
Melanie
is like
Martinez is our queen. Like I
our
was
queen
right when you
currently.
mentioned like musical influences, first one that I thought of was Melanie Martinez because she is such a huge part of like our visual art because in the beginning it started with like just our visual art and
She was
like
like one of our
she
obsessions. Like
we
we
would
would
listen
listen
to
to her
her
like the whole time we were
24/7 while we
painting.
were painting in our in the studio at school because like we were allowed to put music out loud like at school like in the studios and we just had
Mhm.
a little record player and we'd play
That was back when she
Melanie.
just had her Crybaby album. So it was
Yeah.
the Crybaby album on repeat
Oh,
Yeah.
24/7.
Oh my God. I miss those days so much. But
Mhm.
like, yeah, Melanie is like one of our biggest influences and like, yeah, like I just love her so much as a person. Like she's one of those people you can just feel that she does things from her heart. She does things with her whole heart and soul and like she I don't know, like she's just has such an incredible impact in the world like and yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I
so
love
I
her.
would assume that you would love to collaborate with her at some point.
Oh my
I think
God, that would be a dream.
one day I
Oh my
can see that
gosh.
happening. Like if she ever would love to, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, got my fingers crossed for you. And do you feel like your preferences are very different from your childhood era? Like,
Like
do you feel like there's been a big evolution with the what you consume now versus what you consume then?
Um, I think it's very the same because we really love going back to the music we grew up listening to and reconnecting with that. Like, especially recently, like getting like into making music ourselves. Like, we are constantly
Like
referencing and
revisiting
revisiting
older
older music and
vibes.
rediscovering like constantly. I'm always like, oh my God, like I forgot about this song and like we'll remember it and I'll show it to my mom and she'll be like, yeah, you guys loved that. Like you guys loved when I used to put that in the car. And like, yeah, I love like showing that music to my mom because it's something we bond over too. Because my mom, like we used to go on a lot of long car rides because like our parents, my mom and our mom and our dad divorced when we were really little. So like when we would visit my dad on the weekends and that car ride, I just have a lot of memories being in the car listening to good music and my mom would always put Russian music and one artist specifically that like is one of my favorite is Zinfira, and her music is she's like an alternative like rock singer, and her voice is just incredible. And yeah,
Another artist that you can just tell everything she creates comes from the heart and like the
yeah,
depths of her soul.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I loved like and like she's amazing, amazing singer. So we loved singing her
Mhm.
music, of course.
We loved listening to anything that we can sing along to. Like we loved JoJo. She's another pop artist.
Mhm.
And like we discovered her in elementary school, like in third grade, and we were obsessed with her album that she came out, and it's like a lot of covers of like R&B music. Like we loved R&B like when we were younger, and still till this day, like we will still listen to JoJo all the time in the
I still
car.
love that album like
She
so much.
and she remastered the album. So like she has like a new updated version of it. And we were so excited when she released that. And yeah, Mariah Carey. I love like the classics. Celine Dion. I love oh Frou Frou. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. I love
Ooh, how do you like it?
okay.
You like
I
Imogen too?
Yes,
yeah,
Imogen.
I love the soundtrack to Shrek 1 and 2.
Yes, oh my
The
God.
soundtrack is immaculate. I love singing all the songs. Shrek is one of my
It's
favorite
fun.
comfort movies, like specifically 1 and 2. Shrek 1 and 2.
Have you seen like all the like the TikTok like the Shrek rave things that keep popping up?
Oh,
Yeah.
Shrek
Did you hear
Rave.
that DreamWorks got mad at them and they were like, you can't use that. Like they got mad at them using the Shrek.
Oh,
Really?
really?
I think our
Yeah.
friend Quinn was part of putting together the Shrek raves. I don't know
Really?
if that's like the same thing, but I know
Maybe,
that
yeah.
yeah, one of our friends, Quinn, was doing a Shrek rave thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, I love the Shrek movies. And like I don't know, it's so funny like when I see things resurfacing on the internet, like a movie that came out a long time ago, and then all of a sudden like people are making these memes of it, or making just like it's just like really popular all of a sudden. Like I feel like that kind of happened with Shrek. I feel like it just out of the blue, like it resurfaced. And I'm like, but at least people are appreciating the sentient ogre in his swamp. He just wants to be in his peaceful lair. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
Shrek will live on forever now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, uh, the name Satin Puppets, is there a story behind that?
We were
Yes.
kind of when we were creating the name Satin Puppets, we were going between like different kind of like identity names. Like we thought about satin creatures, um and like kind of like anything in that realm, but we decided on puppets because like I've always seen as the human body as like a little like doll that is inhabited by your soul.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So it made sense
In
and
a lo
like
yeah,
and we're so fragile and delicate like satin. So
like in a
yes.
lot of ways, being a human is like being a puppet because you are the one in control. It's supposed to be an empowering thing, but also a reminder of how delicate we are.
After Little Ghouls was definitely like fresh out of college
Yeah,
creation.
I actually came up with Little Ghouls when we were still in high school, and it was because um like I remember like being in high school and being like I just it was back when like we first started to develop our like artistic aesthetic, like my style of art.
Mhm.
And I was what like would I call like the creatures, like most of the creatures, like what like creature do
like
I
what are
identify with
they?
the most? Yeah, and I remember just doing extensive research on what like creature do I resonate with the most. And I was like telling my sister, I was like, we're definitely ghouls. Like we're ghouls.
So, do you have time for a story?
Okay. Should we
I'm
tell the
gonna
really
tell the
cursed
cursed
one?
story.
Morning.
We lived for 2 years with a good friend of ours. Her name is Coda Wade. She's an incredible artist too. She was on The
Cool.
Voice. She sings and has an insanely incredible voice. And we were living at her house, like renting in her house for a few years. And this happened while we were renting in her house. And she lives up in the forest, like in this really beautiful, like mansion, like this huge, incredible, like haunted looking mansion. It's
Oh
really, it's such
gosh.
a vibe. It's such a vibe. But it was a dream for us because the view outside the window when the clouds would come in, like on a cloudy day, it was just so beautiful. We loved living up there. But yeah,
Imagine.
we
Sounds like an
were there for two
experience.
years, and then so this happened while we were living there. We have a friend. Her name is Nina, and she's also a really good friend of ours. And we've done like small collaborations with her before, but she was a sweet angel, and she got us these dolls because she's like, these made me think of you guys. They're like the dolls that you guys
And we would
collect. And
always dog sit for her, so she
yeah,
just like wanted to repay us with like
with some amazing antique
and she
gifts.
knew that we loved collecting like all the
So
strange,
like, and
spooky, haunted, cursed things.
we treasured these cursed dolls, like because like they're really cool, authentic, like vintage dolls.
One of them was
And
kind of like it was like this
Porcelain?
little like puppet man.
yeah,
What were
And
they
then
made
the
out of?
other
I'm
one
sorry.
was like
it was like like fabric, but they were stuffed with like a wood, not wood, like I don't know what it's called, but it's
Shavings?
kind of looks like, huh?
Sawdust? Like
Yeah,
sawdust?
yes, I think it was
sawdust.
Okay.
sawdust.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one was this big baby doll with like a rubber head, right? It
Yeah,
was kind of like
the
not
head,
rubber, but like
yeah, it was
what's
not
that
porcelain.
material?
It
Like
was like,
silicone maybe?
yeah, like kind of like silicone, but they were like 1800s dolls, like very old. Their
Yeah.
clothes was like falling apart, but they looked so cool. I adored them so much. Anyway, she gave those to us and as
And
a
we
gift.
we displayed them on the bookshelf that we had in like the room that we
We're
would kind of
renting.
rent from. And like that bookcase has candles on it that we would occasionally light.
And so we it was a very normal thing for it because we make candles, and so we always have candles lit, and it was a very normal thing for us to light candles. And like we had one
Yeah.
sitting on the bookshelf,
On
and
this
it
particular
was in a
night.
very safe like spot on the bookshelf. Like there was nothing around it flammable.
Yeah.
Like the bookshelf was like it's like a type where like things like are not like hanging like over the candle or anything. Like we made sure it was safe.
Mhm.
And
But
like
right next to
this
that candle was one of the
one of the
dolls.
dolls was sitting next to the candle, but like it wasn't right
Okay.
next to it or anything. And anyway, so this we were all upstairs with our roommates, and all of a sudden we start to smell something burning, and
Ooh.
we remember that we left a candle on downstairs, and we
Then we opened the door
opened the door
to the
to the
downstairs
downstairs, and
and there's
all this
black
black smoke
smoke.
comes up through the hallway. And like
I
at this
immediately
point,
thought I was like, "Oh my God, I
like
left the candle
my
on
sister,
downstairs. Holy
she
shit."
braves her way, runs through the hallway of black smoke, runs into the room, and she's like, Tommy, the bookshelf is on fire. Bring the fire thing. And the fire extinguisher. And my our roommate Tommy went and ran. He brought the fire extinguisher and he ran through the hallway and he put the fire. He was started putting out the fire. The bookshelf was on fire. Like the whole thing was on
Like
fire.
engulfed?
Huh?
Like engulfed?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
well, it was
it,
the like level that the candle was on with the doll sitting next to
yeah,
it. That whole level was on fire, but the black smoke was everywhere, so
it
you
was
can't
the
like
whole
see
room was covered.
anything.
But once the fire
Yeah.
was put out, all of the black smoke, like we opened up all the windows, all
It
the
was like
doors.
raining that day.
Thankfully,
Thank
it was
God. I
pouring
started
rain.
grabbing things that were on fire and
Yeah,
just putting them outside in the
and the
rain.
rain was just putting the fire out. It was dark outside, or it was nighttime. The rain was pouring. We were throwing all of the books and everything from the shelf outside. And then like all of the dust, like the debris was like coming down. We couldn't breathe. Like, we were like inhaling.
Oh
like,
yeah, like we
like
our poor
lungs.
lungs were
Yeah.
probably ruined for like weeks after
Yeah.
that. And what's
Oh my
worse
gosh.
is we had a show like for
Mhm.
emo night, or I think it was where they have emo night at the Echoplex, but we had a
Yeah.
show like the next day. So like
We
our poor lungs,
yeah.
like,
And our eyes too, like it irritated our eyes,
God.
and we had to wear our contact lenses. We probably just looked like we just
Like
came out of a
death.
chimney. But like
But oh my God, the most cursed part of this
the
whole
most cursed
story
part was
grabbing the doll, putting it in a bucket of water, and like
no.
What-
Here's
how
how
did
it
it happen?
happened.
How did
Here's
it
how it happened.
happen?
'Cause this was my experience and how I knew that this was because of the dolls. We like okay, so the fire was put out,
Uh-huh.
everything. I was like, how the heck did how what caught fire? Like how did this happen? I was like trying to
Yeah.
figure it out in my head. And I realized I was like the only thing that could have happened that could have it possibly explained this is one of those dolls must have like
Caught the
moved.
flame
Like they
somehow.
must have somehow like, and this is why I'm
And
convinced like
because
she
those
got
dolls were
up and
like
she walked over to the fire and she was like, I want to like light this thing on fire. I want to light
those
the
dolls like from
and
the 1800s are highly flammable, which we
yeah.
later like found out that like the doll's head specifically, like that material that it's made out of, is super flammable, and that's why like
Yeah.
the head.
When here's my the realization that I had was I was like
Like head
going
made
through
out of paraffin or something?
huh?
This is like head like made out of paraffin wax or something?
I don't know,
Oh,
but here's what
maybe.
happened. Like I was looking around. I was like, how did this happen? And then I picked up a little crate on the I was on the ground, one of the crates, because the okay, that I remember now.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
doll was
Dolls,
sitting on the
yeah.
shelf and its head was gone. The head
The
was not on the
head.
doll, and I was like, I looked at that, the body sitting on the shelf, and then I looked down at a crate on the floor, and I picked up the crate and I rattled it like this,
And the
and the head
head like,
rolled
turned and lit up.
and
Like,
no, the head literally was charred black, and that's why I didn't know that that was the doll's head. And it rolled and it looked at me with two
with
red
the,
eyes,
like glowing
Oh
red
God.
red
there was
eyes
like
because there was like
smoldering
embers
fire
inside
of
of the
it.
head, and like literally, like, I was like smoldering. Like I don't know what was inside of the head, but the eyes were like completely burned away, and like the eyes were just like red, like
Like you could just
literally. And I
glowing
was like,
red, like
clearly this
inside.
doll is trying to tell me like, girl, yep, that was me.
I was like, put that thing outside in the rain.
We like
Tell
took the
Cersei it was me.
yeah, she looked at me, she's like,
She's
yep,
like, yeah,
that was me.
I lit the house on fire.
Yeah, like that was the doll telling me that that was yeah, that was her fun little I don't know. Yeah,
What a little prank.
yeah, a
What a
little
Prank.
scam.
yeah. I'm like, and we've always felt like some energy on those dolls. Like I don't know how, like my our roommates, my friend Coda and Tommy,
They were so sweet.
they
Like, oh my
held
God.
us. We were
Yeah.
crying our eyeballs out because we felt so horrible and we were traumatized too. And Coda was just holding us. She was like, "My babies, it's okay." She's like, "I'm just glad that we're all safe and no one got hurt." And she was just like comforting us. And but like we were all like comforting each other because we're like, "I can't believe that just happened." It was just one of the wildest thing that's ever happened to us. Yeah.
That's pretty wild. Holy cow. Okay. Speaking of wild, do either of you have any twinning stories?
Twinning stories?
Yeah, actually,
I think we're constantly twinning.
we're constantly twinning. We'll
I've
always
caught you guys finishing each other's sentences a few times, but
we'll like say things at the same time in the same way all the time. Like we stutter kind of at the same time too.
We
Like
used to have the same dreams when we were little.
mhm.
ooh, cool.
Oh, like we would, oh my gosh, we would like feel each other's pain even when we're apart.
Yeah.
Like with little things, like I would like get her on the playground and like scrape my knee and be bleeding, and Joanna would like immediately know that something is wrong, and she would just start crying, and
Yeah.
then like come to find out like I was hurt on the playground.
Yeah. We were always like connected through our feelings. Like me and my sister, like always, we can always feel. I can always sense if something is off. Like, well, like I don't know. I don't think this is just a twin thing. I think like people have this with anyone that they're really close with your energy, you can just sense things. But I think twins have a hyper version of that because like we're always like twin telepathy, like I don't know, yeah. Like because my sister, she has a boyfriend, so sometimes she'll go over to his house and like we don't really we this was something that we had to become accustomed to because we're always like we're always together, we're always inseparable. But now like I've become accustomed to like solo time whenever my sister's with her boyfriend. And like so like now like when I'm by myself, like I feel like I'm extra tapped into this other dimension and like realm, and like I can just always sense like what my sister is going through like when we're apart. And I don't know, yeah, that's it's a twin thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, we have like I think I have like three or four twins in my family, and they all have
Oh,
twinning stories. So it's like
that's
I
so
always have to ask. Yeah. All right. So I understand that you both like your sweets and treats, but what is your favorite food?
oh my
Wait,
gosh.
favorite food or favorite treat?
Let's go with one of each.
One of each.
Okay. Well, cheese bread
Yeah,
all the
okay.
way. Our current favorite like thing to snack on is preferably homemade sourdough bread because we have a neighbor at my
Oh,
mom's house. She
we were
makes
just talking about this.
really
Yeah,
my
sourdough bread.
I
love
we
sourdough
are obsessed
bread.
with sourdough bread, and my mom's neighbor makes the most incredible, the most love heartfelt sourdough bread that you will ever imagine. And I we love sourdough bread with like cheese or butter, and I love like butter and cucumber slices, and or like yeah, just like toasted sourdough bread and like dipped in like a comforting potato soup. I love like making little witchy kind of like soups, very like earthy ingredients. I love quinoa. I don't know. I love things like that, like
We'll have to do
comforting
some
warm
recipe
meals
swapping.
off our bread.
I know.
My
Go get it. Go
my
get it.
our neighbors like they built they built they baked a pink sourdough bread for Valentine's
get it.
Day,
Go
and
get
I
it.
was amazed. Like we cut into it and I was like, oh my God, it's pink. We were
You can't
literally
tell from the outside, but once you cut into it, like you could see
yeah.
that it's pink. And I was literally like screaming and
We were
weeping.
literally
I'm
just
literally gonna
making
go get
we were
it.
making cheese bread like right before the interview. So like we're literally gonna eat this like right after the interview. Like we're gonna make what we love snacking on is those rosemary crackers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like
Mary's
yeah.
Gone Crackers?
Huh?
Is it like the Mary's Gone Crackers brand?
I don't know actually what the brand is, but they're rosemary crackers.
Okay,
This
this
is
is the
her.
bread.
Oh,
Can you tell it's
wow.
pink? Can you see?
Yeah.
And it has a heart
And
on
then
it.
Cool.
see like carved little beautiful hearts, and then on this side it's like a pretty like leaf pattern.
Oh, that's so pretty.
But I just literally feel like a Skyrim character with my entire loaf of bread, and I literally cannot wait to eat this later. Okay, well, yeah, our favorite like thing to do currently, like our nightly ritual, like before we play our game, like while we're playing our games on our Switches, is we assort like crackers and cheese, and we like trying different cheeses and like different crackers. And our current favorite is those rosemary crackers. They're like really long rosemary crackers, and they have like these really thick, not thick, very thin, flaky, like big, like thin, flaky salt on it.
Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then like any white cheddar cheese. I love white cheddar cheese. And we love fruits. We love berries, like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. And we're kind of like snackers. We like snacking on like fresh fruits and vegetables like all day long. Like I love cucumbers. I like slicing cucumbers on my toast. And man, this is like my favorite topic. I love like 'cause I'm such a happy person. Like I love my current favorite like treat right now is any gummy candy that, but not just like I just want to show you my pantry because I have a collection. like as such a candy connoisseur.
I currently have a really strong addiction to the Sprout gummy bears, like the 12 flavor gummy
We
bears.
just ran out of those. I would go bring them right now. But okay, wait, let me go get these candies that I'm thinking of because I don't know what they're called, but I do want to share them because I recommend them. They're like such a good gummy candy. If you're not even into gummy candies, I would still recommend these because they're so top tier. Like they're just so good.
Okay.
Do you have
I'll
a
have to do some
favorite?
recipe swapping.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I absolutely love soups. So Joanna mentioned that they like to make the garden soups. I'm all about that.
Yes, oh my gosh. I've been really into cooking soups and like curries lately because the weather has been gloomy and like when it's gloomy, I always feel like I have to cook something like cozy and comforting. Okay, I'm bringing just a few of like things, just like products that I want to share. So these are the gummies I'm talking about. You can get them from TJ Maxx, literally for like a few dollars. Like anytime I see these at TJ Maxx, I buy them because they're only $4.99. And you know how usually TJ Maxx snacks are like kind of stale sometimes, or like if they're hit or miss,
Yes.
like you don't know. These are never stale. Like these are always so good. I don't know how. And these are like my current favorite candy. They're actually from the Russian Deli. If anybody watching is like in the Newport area, there's a Russian deli. It's called the Moscow Deli, in the Newport area,
Newport Beach, California.
Newport Beach, California, and you can get these candies from there. And they're just like these jelly, like they're like squishy jelly candies. And they're covered in like sugar, like sugar granules. Um, and they're just called Russian. Russian is spelled like Russian for some reason. Like I don't know if you can see that.
Russian.
But yeah,
Sure.
it's Russian. I thought it was like the brand, but I think they're just trying to say like Russian jellies. But yeah, there's like different colors and yeah, I'm obsessed with these. These are the best.
Sounds
Um,
good.
yeah, and then just another snack that we like to snack on is these. They're called sushi. Um,
Like pretzels?
they're kind of, oh yeah, they kind of are like pretzels. Yeah, they're like just like these like little like bread. Um, but I
Like
think they're actually meant for babies because they're
yeah,
super easy to like. They're
Can you
actually
break
really
one?
hard, but I think like they're good for babies to
yeah.
like gnaw on and like teeth on.
Can you break one for me? I'm just curious about the
Yeah,
texture.
let me show you the texture. ASMR moment. Wait,
You might have to
they're
do it with your
super hard.
teeth.
Hold on.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, why is it? Okay, I might have to like break it with my teeth.
Go for it.
I think
So yeah, a little bit like a pretzel. It
yeah,
like
it is
not
kind of
the
pretzel like. Yeah, actually, comparing it to a pretzel is very accurate. And then the last snack I wanted to share is these. These are uh
ooh.
Baniki. So it's like gingerbread, little
Mhm.
gingerbread
Russian
stone.
gingerbread. These are my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me of what do they call them? The like the Greek wedding cakes or whatever.
Oh yeah.
The ones that are
I
like,
don't know if that's the
they got
wedding
like
cookie.
powdered sugar on them.
Oh, those. Yeah, I love those.
So
I
good.
love the cookies so much. I actually have those in the pantry too. But
Oh,
yeah.
what are they called?
The wedding cookies or
Yeah,
these
the wedding cookies.
wedding
Forget.
cookies? I think they're
They're
just
called
called
Mexican
Mexican
wedding
wedding
cookies.
cookies.
Okay. All right.
But
Yeah.
growing up, we always call them snowball cookies because they're like little. They usually have
Snowballs.
like walnuts or almonds in them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. Oh. All right. Final question. What is your favorite spice or herb,
Ooh.
Ginger for me.
Andrew?
Yes, definitely ginger. Just for its medicinal properties and how much ginger has helped me with my stomach problems that I had in the past. I don't have them as badly anymore, but like I've definitely healed a lot with the help of ginger. So yeah, I actually have a little ginger root tattoo. I don't know if
She
you
did
can
it on
see.
herself
Oh,
too.
Yeah, kind of
Little
hard to
baby
see.
ginger root.
oh wow, that's really cool. Reminds me of Mandrake Root a little bit.
Yes, from Pan's Labyrinth.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think my
I
favorite.
also consume a lot of ginger because of my stomach issues. I eat like these ginger candies, like kind of
Oh
I
yeah.
love
Ginger chew.
Yeah, we have ginger
oh,
chews too.
Prince of Peace brand is the one that I use.
Oh, I
Mm.
don't know what brand it is that we use, but I love trying all the
The
ginger
ones from Trader
chews. Those are the
Joe's.
best. The Trader Joe's ones are the best. They're like the little green bag and has the little ginger root man on it.
Mhm. Yeah, I got one that was like a peanut butter. It was a peanut butter ginger chew. It was actually pretty
Ooh, that sounds so
Ooh,
good. I love
interesting.
peanut butter.
good. I ate too much of it. Okay, and what about you?
I think basil would have to be my favorite herb.
Mhm.
Okay,
Thai basil.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, Thai basil is so good. That's
good
my
on
sister's
everything.
boyfriend Keone. That it's Keone's favorite is Thai basil.
Mhm.
It goes good on everything.
Yes, like
Mhm.
fresh basil. So good.
Well, sage would probably have to be mine, but cultural reasons.
Sage.
Ooh.
Mm.
Good. Okay, anything else that you would like to discuss before we wrap it up?
Um,
Hmm.
I'm just like all I'm thinking about now is bread. I'm just like I can't wait to eat our bread right now and have snacks. I think I have said everything.
Mhm.
We do have a song in the works that should be out in April, I think. Should we name drop right now? We can name drop it, but
Go for
it'll
it.
really be like the first time we talk about the song publicly.
Go for it. Yeah, I'm all for it.
It's called Heartstone Sanctum. Yeah, the song
And
is called Heartstone Sanctum, the last song on the EP before we like start working on our next thing, next big
Mhm.
thing in our music.
Yeah,
And the title is it was initially going to be called Inner Sanctum because it's the final song. It wraps up the healing journey of the puppeteer. So
mhm,
it was called Inner Sanctum because it is about confronting yourself. It's when the five puppets finally confront him instead of trying to run away from him.
mhm.
And but we decided to name it Heartstone Sanctum. It's a little Easter egg and it's inspired by Skyrim. If you play Skyrim,
I do.
yeah,
I play
and
more Baldur's Gate now, but Skyrim's great.
oh, Baldur's Gate. My boyfriend plays that game.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Okay, that sounds really exciting. Get a timeline already?
Not yet,
Not
not exactly,
not
but
yet.
if you guys stay updated on our Instagram, we post all like release dates and everything on there. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Any closing statements or words of inspiration for your fans or anyone that follows you?
I really encourage you to pursue the things that make you feel connected to your vessel, whatever that means to you. Like I think for example, my sister's boyfriend Keone, he just launched his clothing brand, but he's always been so like connected to sewing and like making things.
He's
Um,
extremely talented too. He
yeah.
actually made our outfits for the last music video that we released for Desolate.
Yeah, if you watch our music video for Desolate, he made those outfits and he designed them and it's insane. Like it's just so insane and I just really feel like everybody is destined to like make to like
Everybody has a
everyone has a
destiny.
creative destiny and
Mhm.
in whatever like way that is. For example, my cousin Andrea, I feel like she was destined to be a mother because of the way she raises her children. Like they yeah, I don't know. They really are like fairies, like really magical beings and so successful and smart. And I just feel like everyone and like, that takes creative energy. Like I just think like pursuing something creatively, I think everyone is meant to do that. I think that's really a doorway to connecting with your inner child.
I really feel like this is the year to do it too. Like 2024, Year of the Dragon has so much like fire energy and like that's really
Passion.
passionate and like inspiring. So like this is a really great time to just like just do it. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
what have you got to lose?
Hmm.